There's just nothing quite like waking up early before the rest of the world, heading to that one location you've been obsessing about for ages. That anticipation. This is almost better for me than the actual taking of the shot itself. This is what photography is all about. But it all starts with an idea. My plan is to get from here to here, and then hike up to this location by sunrise. I need to be in a car park and walking by about 2:30 a.m. because sunrise is 4:45. So this means I need to wake up at 11:30 p.m. to then drive at 12 o'clock to get to the location by 2 a.m. Now it does look like there's a small weather window. I can see tomorrow morning it looks good, but then on Friday it's deteriorating. So I've got one morning to do it and one morning only. Oh man, it's so marginal. Do I go or do I not? Right, screw it. I'm gonna do it. I've had to think about it, and after looking at the forecast, tomorrow morning is my only window. So looks like I'm probably gonna have to go to bed early tonight to get up early to get that sunrise tomorrow morning. The joys of being a landscape photographer in the UK in the summer. One thing you'll find is as you get into landscape photography, or if you're into landscape photography already, you try and get your head around what's happening with the weather forecast. It can only get it right for 2 or 3 days, and after that, it's so chaotic that it's almost impossible to predict accurately. And this is why you've always got to keep an eye on the forecast and be ready to go at the drop of a hat. So looking at this, there's a front coming through tomorrow night, and it's going to get really rainy on Friday. So it's tomorrow morning or nothing. I just hope that light comes through. This is what I'm talking about with that anticipation. Now, anticipating what it's going to be like. Let's just hope it does what I want it to, or at least do something interesting, or something nice with the light. So I'm just going to do it and see what happens. Getting up at this time of night is a little bit tiring, but I might as well give it a go. I'm up, I'm ready to go, and I just want to get a shot of this. Now, I've hiked this place before, but I'm not 100% sure that there's a decent landscape shot there. But I am craving that feeling of seeing that sun break the horizon. And if you've done a sunrise, you know exactly what I mean. It is addictive, and it'll get you up pretty much every morning you try and go out. But that's the thing with landscape photography. We do these crazy things. We get up at crazy hours of the night just in that one hope, getting that really nice shot. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Well, I'm here and it's around about 2:15, so I've got plenty of time to hike up to the point that I want. Although it doesn't look like there's that many clouds about. There's clear skies, I can see all the stars. Although there's this weird line of clouds to the north and to the east. The cities in that area are lighting up those clouds, but it is lighting up the horizon a little bit too much, or more than I want to. So it's lucky I'm not doing an astro shoot, because that really would have messed it up. Now that light to the northeast, which I thought was city lights reflecting off the clouds, it's actually the sunlight. The sun has dropped way below the horizon, but it's still reflecting off these really high level clouds. And it looks quite cool. The other thing that's really cool is towards Llyn Ogwen, we've got the moon setting, and it's just a slither of a crest of the moon. Man, it's getting hot already. Got some nice colours in the sky. It's 3:30. I've already got the first plane of the day going over as well. There's no real clouds except for on the horizon, exactly where I don't want them. Oh, so annoying when the clouds are there and not there. I do have a bit of time, but yeah, I want to get up there so I can recover before I start taking photographs. Right, let's do it. So that's where I'm heading up. It's a bit of a stomp, but hopefully it'll be worth it. Oh. Now I'm about a third of the way up, and it's normally at this point where I start contemplating my choices, whether I made the right decision. There's not really a cloud in the sky, so it is quite boring. It's getting quite bright over to the east already. This one's a real slog. It just keeps on going and going, and a little bit like the cloud. It's wispy and it's in the air, but it's just not in the right place. So frustrating. Oh well, I'm gonna get up to the ridge and see what it's like up there. We've got a nice orange glow on the horizon, and hopefully Tryfan and the Glyders will get lit by that sun as it comes up. But yeah, we'll see. So I'm just about getting to the first ridge. I think there's a photo here, but I'm not 100% sure. So we've got this nice ridge going out and then Tryfan behind it as well. Just wish there were a few more clouds, that's all. Not wishing for much, am I? Does need a focal point though. Like Tryfan is working quite well, but then maybe someone stood here, maybe in a bright jacket. The really frustrating thing with landscape photography is you get to the location you think that there'll be a photograph at, and it just looks so different from the time that you were there before. I'm definitely having a little bit of a composition conundrum. It's kind of really hard to find a decent foreground, but even without the photography, when you get views like this to yourself, it's absolutely fantastic. This is so frustrating. On one hand, do I walk up the path and keep going to the summit? But the problem is, I've got all of this rubbly, horrible foreground. Or do I go back down and shoot on that path? What to do? I do not know. Right, I've made a decision. I'm gonna go right to the summit, get a photo from up there, and then come down here, back to that bottom one. Hopefully the sun won't have gone by then. That's what I'm sticking to at the moment, but I'll probably change my mind halfway up. But I'm almost there, so I might as well go and do the summit at least. The sun is just starting to break through, just starting to break the peak of Penarolwen. This is probably too wide to see. There you go. So the light's come up quite a bit now. It's shining on Snowdon in the background. Hasn't quite hit Tryfan like I wanted it to. But yeah, that sky is just a little bit too boring. There's quite a lot of haze in the air as well. Now, I didn't realise at the time, but to get rid of most of those boring skies, I subconsciously filled a lot of my photographs with the landscape. And this is something you can do if you get to a sunrise location and all the clouds have burnt off. So don't be disheartened by those blue sky days. The light in the valley looks really nice. So I'm gonna keep my camera out and just take photographs as I go down. Now I'm just wondering if this location would be better from Penarolwen, because all of this is side lit. Maybe later in the year, where the sun's rising here and shining directly down the valley. Probably could get a really good pano from there. And we all know that I like a good pano. Now I'm back down to this point again where I got that shot earlier on, and it's a little bit brighter, but it does work still. You've got the sunlight hitting all of this grass, which brightens it right up, and it's also hitting the mountains in the distance. It's a shame Tryfan is such a sheer face on this side, because that keeps it in the shadows. Now, just for the record, I didn't bring that yellow jacket just to take this shot.
I bought it because I thought it was going to be a lot colder than it actually is. I think the temperature is around about 15 to 20 degrees now, and it's only going to get hotter to the middle of the day. But I thought in the nighttime it was going to be a lot colder than it was, so I brought 2 layers. Only ended up really needing this thin jacket, but the yellow jacket came in handy. So cheesy Instagram shots, here we come. Now, if you're wondering why landscape photographers just go out really early to try and capture that morning light, this is the reason why. You get the place to yourself, you get really nice light, and it's just great to be in such a peaceful place on your own, no one else about, and you can just basically do what you want. Now, I didn't quite get what I wanted, but I think there's a few photographs that I like in there. Obviously, you guys will have seen them and you'll have seen the edited versions, but I think there are a few.